What's up everyone? Welcome back. I know I said I wanted to get this video out sometime this week, however I really did not mean the weekend. Freaking week of 4th of July, man. It was just busy. So I am sorry that it took a minute to get these uploaded, but here we are, running dual pistols and finishing up Act 1, taking down the boss. I do apologize if this is a spoiler for you, fighting the Act 1 boss, but one, I kinda just assumed that by this point in time pretty much everyone has seen it. I am sorry if that is not true and I just ruined your life. And two, I really wanted to show it as a ranged character because quite a lot of people out there seem to be getting nuked left and right against this boss. I actually recorded this fight here before the most recent hotfix, so before they fixed his Fire Nova, sometimes doing 4 times the amount of intended damage. You may also notice that my character is already level 20, but that is only because I took my time with the storyline and tried to kill every single thing possible to get my active skills leveled up. Up to this point in the game, I was also actually running a toxic bleed build like my weirdo name suggests, but I ended up removing bleed from the build sometime before this boss fight to try and get some more damage out of the build to take the boss down and then go start those expeditions, because at this point in time your character is very dependent on gear and it does take some time grinding, finding the correct pieces to make it work properly. Now this build did have the ability to apply more than one element at a time, but it just became too much of a struggle to get both of my toxic and my rend damages higher than my physical damage because of the gear I was finding. Like literally everything had plus to physical, damn it. I did not want my physical damage higher than my toxic or rend damage because then it would have a chance to apply stun as one of my elements. I did not want to apply stun on this particular build, I wanted it to apply bleed and poison. It just wasn't working out very well, so I changed it up. I removed the ability to apply more than one element at a time, removed bleed, concentrated on just toxic damage and applying poison, and invested those removed skill tree points into critical chance and critical damage. And now I occasionally see crits for 9 or 10k. What the hell? This character has crappier gear than my Purifier build, but somehow already deals more damage, yet still takes longer to clear an entire dungeon? Huh? Freaking dual pistols, man. Just weird. I'm also a little annoyed with whatever is going on with attack speed at the moment, but I am really hoping and just crossing my fingers that attack speed and even movement speed get some kind of tweak in the future, but... Alright, let's get into it. I wanted to do something different this time, so I decided to go full glass cannon and put everything into ferocity for a higher overall damage and crit chance. This will leave you feeling pretty damn squishy though, as nothing has been invested into life. However, if you prefer more life, then you can just invest some points into toughness, or just look for toughness on your gear. If you really want, you can even go all toughness and just depend on the damage bonus from attributes. However, you will lose quite a bit of damage in doing so. Already up to 7k average damage, Havoc Orb is showing an average of over 8k damage, but this build also gains increased damage as our rage bar fills up. So after filling it all the way up, it goes up to 7,587 average damage and 8,706 average damage showing on Havoc Orb. Getting into the gear. Okay, well when I started this build I really wanted to try health and force shield. Force shield felt like it did almost nothing for me, and with my resistances being lower in that gear, I was getting hit way too hard. So I had to switch things up and start running bruiser gear again. I have not had a chance to replace everything yet, but I will just as soon as I find something better. So because I did not invest anything into toughness, plus to health and to max health on your gear is very helpful. Health regeneration, any and all resistances that you can get. If you decide to go all toughness, then look for plus to toughness, but since I am running all ferocity, then plus to ferocity. Anywhere you can get crit chance and or crit damage would be amazing. I am still waiting to find some with toxic damage added to attacks, but a couple of steel rings would be great for this build with their implicit crit damage mods. Once you have your 3-socketed pistols, remember to always socket them with gems that give added damage to attacks. As long as that damage does not go higher than your toxic damage, you will still have a chance to apply poison, while gaining the additional sacred, shadow, and or ether damage. Alright, taking a look at the Gate of Fate, starting in Sentinel and grabbing ×2, 20% projectile damage, ×2 attack damage and crit chance, movement speed just to get to the massive attack speed, up into Warmonger for attack damage, just to get to 1, 2, 3 nodes for a total of 45% attack damage, ferocity, and even though it's wonky at the moment, life leech, material damage and attack speed. The more rage you have, the more damage you deal. Plus 2% damage per 100 unspent rage points. You have a default total of 1,000 rage points. Rage generation on kill. And I don't know what is going on with this node, but they changed it. It used to be 10% rage generation on hit. It was in my Purifier build just a few days ago, and now it's kind of useless. If I had to choose only one, though, like for the Purifier, I would definitely take Generation on Kill. And down into Soldier for ×2, 20% crit damage, ×2 attack damage and crit damage, more crit damage, and huge crit chance. Over into Assassin, picking up some attack damage, 15, and 15 more for a total of 45% crit chance, 150% crit damage with a negative 30% non-crit damage. Down to material damage, poison stacks duration, poison element chance, and 50% physical damage converted into toxic damage. Up this way for a huge health boost. Dodge rolls can go through enemies, yay. Maximum health, agility, material damage and crit chance, status, element resistance, and all resistances just to get down to damage over time generated with a critical hit deals critical damage. Alright, the active skills, starting with Stings of Crerion and is modified to have increased damage, arrows explode on enemy contact but cannot pierce enemies, and summon ghosts to shoot arrows alongside you. Phantom Blades, modified to have increased damage, increased area of effect, can hold 1 additional charge, and converts base physical damage to toxic damage, applies an additional stack when applying poison. Mark of Impurity, modified as enemies killed while under the effect, explode and deal damage based on the target's max health in an area around them. And Mark of Impurity spreads to surrounding units. Those are the only 2 important ones. Everything else is whatever you want. I went with marked enemies are more vulnerable. Havoc Orb, modified to have increased area of effect, reduced minimum range, adds a slow effect to the target area, critical hits deal more damage, and increased damage. And lastly, Arrow's Wail, modified to have increased damage, adds a slowing effect in the area, more likely to deal critical hits, and converts base physical damage to fire damage. I think I was only using this one for the increased damage at the bottom, as converting my physical into fire is kinda useless. However, if I did not go with this one, I would personally just take reduced cooldown, and more likely to apply ailments. And that is about it. However, I wanted to explain why I am annoyed with attack speed at the moment. At the time of recording this, I don't know exactly what is going on. I have not heard anyone else say anything about it, and I may just be talking out of my arse, but to me, it definitely just feels like they changed something, like added an actual cap to it or something. Now this, of course, only comes from my personal experiences in-game, and even though it is much easier to see or to feel with a modded character in offline mode, I can still feel it a bit in online mode. For example, on this character, that huge plus 40% to attack speed actually kind of felt like nothing more than a wasted skill tree point when I first put it in. And now, at level 20, I can remove that node and won't even lose 1 point of damage. Nor can I even really tell a difference in my actual attack speed. And yeah, that sounds like an entirely different problem altogether, and I even noticed on the very first character that I made for Content Patch 1, the Purifier build, that putting points into attack speed on the Gate of Fates did not increase my damage at all, not even 1 point. So that's been a thing since the release of Content Patch 1. However, the reason I said maybe there was a cap or something now is because at the release of Content Patch 1, I also made a modded character with ridiculous amounts of attack speed, and I eventually basically turned the pistols into a couple of machine guns. It was nuts. Then, after 2 of the 3 recent hotfixes were released, I made a new modded character and then noticed that attack speed was not going up like it used to. So I experimented, continuing to add more and more attack speed until eventually I had 10,000 attribute points put into agility, and a piece of gear that granted 100,000% to attack speed. What I noticed was that no matter if you had 10,000% to attack speed, 100,000%, or even a freaking million, it didn't matter. There was no noticeable change in my pistol's fire rate. So again, I have not heard anything about this. Maybe I'm just smoking too much or something and have started to hallucinate. I don't know. But I just wanted to let you all know about what I have personally experienced, just in case there is something to it, because then you should just be careful of attack speed for the moment. I honestly feel like I should just go back into this character's skill tree and remove attack speed for now, because they just feel like wasted points that could be used elsewhere for a greater advantage. But anyways, let us all know down in the comments if you have experienced anything weird with attack speed. I mean, I know almost everything is being buggy at the moment, but I swear that attack speed was not always like this. Oh well, whatever. I'm sure that if there actually is a problem, then the devs will address it in time. Hopefully they are currently hard at work on Content Patch 2 so they can get that released as soon as possible. However, I have seen some comments about the devs currently internally coming up with new dates for the upcoming releases to better fit with their plan or whatever. I have not heard this from the developers themselves yet, but the person who did say it is a pretty damn reliable source. So all I am trying to say is that if they do end up publishing new release dates, just consider that it is what is best for the game and for all of us players to have a better overall experience. I know that some people are just falling so hard for this game, it's awesome, and they just want to invest all their free time into it, enjoying the game now, but keep in mind that we really are just beta testing the currently implemented features at the moment. Wolcen still has a ways to go, and you should expect many more changes to come, so stay tuned for news updates, gameplays, build guides, and as Content Patch 2 gets closer, I will consider releasing modded characters that you can all play for yourself. Thank you for listening to my excessive babbling. Take it easy, everyone, and hopefully I will catch you all again next time.
You owe me an explanation. Let's go, let's go!